welcome to the Purl Up and Die podcast. My name is Jaden. I'll be your host for the next little bit, and this is episode 21. So if you are a new viewer, welcome, and if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. Today is May. No, it's not May anymore. It's June, and it's June like 6th. Yeah, it's June 6th. Where did the last week go? I have no idea. So anyways, if you're new, like I said, welcome. I am a knitting podcast. I like to use this time to explain what I am working on, what I am currently knitting, and what I have finished. So just give me 1 second. I just need to change one little setting, if I can figure it out, and I can't, of course. So this will have to do. Sorry. I actually recorded this podcast last Wednesday, and I had to completely redo it, and I didn't have time till this week. So last time, my fan on my laptop kept running really loud. It was rattling. It had something inside or something, and yeah, my microphone picked up mostly that, so you could barely hear me over the hum of my fan. So that really stunk, because who wants to do this twice? But anyways, I also had a really hard time focusing on myself. Well, I'm looking at a picture of myself recording, because I find it's easier if I have something to look at to talk to, because I was like looking at everything but you guys. So it's very difficult to talk to a camera, but I'm going to try really hard. So this week I have so much to talk about, because I haven't recorded for over a month. It's probably closer to 2. I definitely didn't mean to leave it so long. I say this every single time. You guys are sick of hearing the excuses, but it's extremely difficult to carve out a little chunk of time to do this. But here I am today, so let's get started. I have a whole page and some of project notes today. So it's going to be grab a cup of coffee, speed up the video. Did you know you can do that? Cozy Up Girls told me that. You could speed up the video. So they said there's like 3 dots. I don't know what side it'll be on. This side maybe. 3 dots at the top of your screen that you can then do the play. You can speed it up or slow it down. No idea. I don't have 3 dots. I'm thinking that might be like an iPad, Apple thing. But I watch on my desktop, and it's in the, if you click over in this area down in the thing, there's like a little gear, and you can speed up or slow down the playback. So if I talk really fast, you can slow me down, and if I'm rambling, you can just speed me up and make me be done faster. So anyways, let's get started. So I've said who I am. So, where you can find me around the internet, you can mostly find me on Instagram. My personal account with a lot of my general knitting is at Little Prairie Purl on Instagram. Or you can find my business one at Midnight Cravings on Instagram. And if you're on Ravelry and you're looking there, then you can find me as Creations on a Whim. So, yeah, and Midnight Cravings, if you're interested in buying yarn, we do hand dye the yarn, and we have we have an Etsy shop. That's what I'm trying to say. So it's midnightcravings.etsy.com, and you can find it there. So before I get into the kind of knitting content, I do want to have some thank yous. I've got quite a few of them. So, sorry, some birds are like diving outside my window. It's going to be so distracting. It's like, you know, those horse things and the blinders? That's what I need. But anyways, intro crap's all done. Thank yous. So I have received a few gifts since my last podcast, so I just wanted to thank everybody for those. So I will list them off, and then I'll also insert pictures at the very end of my telling you about them, and then you can see them yourself. So Jamie from the Cozy Up Designs, so you guys know them as the Cozy Up with the Stitchin' Sisters. They have quite a few designs out now, and they have gifted me a few of them, so really appreciate that. Thank you so much, ladies. So they have given me the Krissy shawl and the Katie shawl. So both of those, the Krissy shawl is a crescent, And the Katie shawl is an asymmetrical triangle, so I will insert the pictures. You can see they're stunning, beautiful designs, as well as the My Sister shawl. Nope, I have the My Sister shawl. The My Sister cowl and the My Sister socks were gifted to me in the last couple of weeks. Also, Knox Mountain. So Sasha and Willow of Knox Mountain Knit Co. They have designed a few. They put out a pattern or a collection of patterns monthly, I think. And yeah, so I was gifted the last couple of their patterns. The first one was the layer cake shawl. So if you're not familiar with that one, it's a beautiful, like a big asymmetrical triangle, and it's knit, the main body is knit in one color, and then you use minis or scraps to do the stripes at the end, and it's really pretty. So yeah, if you've got mini sets or scraps, probably about 20 grams, 20 to 25 grams will probably be enough to do the stripes of their, of the end of the shawl. It would be absolutely beautiful. And also the other pattern that they gifted were the McCulloch socks. So those socks are, they designed with our yarn. And so they gifted us the pattern, and they're really, really nice. They have a contrast heel-toe cuff, and they have a really awesome cable that goes up the front of the toe, or the foot and the leg. So those are some of the gift ones from them. Also, just yesterday I received a couple of sock patterns from Elissa Greenlaw. So she is Something from String on Instagram, and yeah, she's gifted me her Sweet Sadie socks and her Alter Ego socks. So the Sweet Sadie socks are kind of like a feminine lacy pattern. They have a picot bind off, or maybe it's a picot cast on. I'm not sure. I haven't looked. I'm not sure if they're top up or top down or toe up. I always get that mixed up. So, but yeah, they're really cool. And the Alter Ego set is socks. Sorry, I'm just going to, I don't know. I just got a new phone. I don't know how to turn off the volume. Oh, like that. That's easy. You just push the volume button. So, yeah, and her Alter Ego socks, it's like a simple stitch repeat, and it's a really nice one for like men. I think she designed it for her husband because he likes socks and she didn't just like doing vanilla. And yeah, so she gifted me those. So I was really excited. And yeah, so that's it for patterns. So we have, my sister Tara and I have a huge thank you to give you guys. On my last podcast, I talked about a yarn collection, or a special yarn release that we were doing. It was called, the name of the yarn was Room for Everyone, and it was for the campaign started by Krissy and Tristan. So Dragon Horde Yarn and Yarn Cafe Creations. They're a mom and daughter duo, and they a bunch of us saw some crap going down on Instagram of another maker calling out another one. It was this big mess, and it just, we didn't want to see that anymore. That was really ridiculous. And so they decided to start a campaign, and they did a call for makers and dyers and pattern designers and that kind of thing to create something special for a campaign that they were spearheading. So that was called There Is Room for Everyone. If you look up that hashtag on Instagram, you'll see all the things that were made and the support for it, which was really, really nice to see that awareness. So anyways, Tara and I had designed a color. I showed it extensively in my last podcast, and I talked about it. And yeah, so our campaign, we decided to run from April, I think it was the was it the 7th, the 6th or 7th? I can't remember. It was fairly early in April, all the way till the very end of May. We had the color available. It is now gone out of the shop. You cannot get it anymore. So I apologize if you're new to the podcast and you liked it. When you go look at it, you can't get it anymore. It was just a special colorway that we had up for 2 months for the campaign. So apologies if you didn't get one. But anyways, we did want to say thank you. We did get a lot of positive feedback from that on our Instagram. So that was really wonderful to read all the comments. I had a lot of really nice comments on my podcast, which was wonderful. So I appreciated that. But also, we wanted to let you know that because it was the end of May, we waited, we got together we added up the totals, and we raised $460 to give to an anti-bullying charity. So Tara is donating the money today. So when she does, I will make sure that I get a picture, or I'll get her to send me the receipt, and I will we'll put it up on Instagram for you guys to see, so you know that we did donate it and it was appreciated. So we had hoped to donate it locally here in our town, but it didn't work out that way, so we couldn't donate it here in town at the school. They didn't have anything running, so we looked a little bit more, and we found that there was another fairly local anti-bullying fundraiser going on here in Saskatchewan. So it was, you can find more out about it. It's through the Red Cross. It focuses on Saskatchewan and the students in Saskatchewan. So I have a little bit of information here that I looked up. So it's through the Canadian Red Cross, and you can look it up by looking up Imagine No Bullying. So that's, yeah, it's canadian.redcross.ca/Imagine No Bullying. So I'll put links below. You guys can have a look. But it talks about how many students in Saskatchewan are affected by bullying, either online, in person, that kind of thing, and what the money goes for. So we're really excited with how much that we were able to donate. So just here, I'll just read the little blurb for you guys. So it says, last year, the Red Cross taught 68,000 people how to recognize, respond to, and prevent bullying. The Red Cross trains youth to speak to their peers. We also train Saskatchewan Rough Rider players to speak to students, and we hold an annual awareness celebration, Red Cross Pink Day, which has over 75,000 participants last year. We need your help so that we can reach every student with important tools and information about bullying. And then it says what the money can be used for. So every $20 provides bullying prevention tools and education for one student. $50 provides online bullying prevention training for an educator or other helping adult in a community or school. $600 provides bullying prevention tools and education for one classroom. And $1,500 will train one teacher to reach hundreds. So we're really excited that we were able to donate $460 from you guys. So that's almost enough for an entire classroom of anti-bullying prevention, awareness, and education. So that's super, super amazing. I think that it's so extremely important, especially in, well, not even especially in the younger grades, in all the grades. But I was bullied really badly in elementary school, so to have preventative programs like this in place really is important to me. And I think that it's awesome that we were able to raise that much and keep it within Saskatchewan, where it will benefit students close to us. So anyways, thank you so much again. We cannot thank you enough for your support for this. So anyways, that was the big, I wanted to make sure that we talked about that again, because it was such a big thing last podcast. So moving on for some other quick news before I get into the knitting content, I just wanted to let you guys know a little, not really know, it's already out on Instagram, it's been released and everything, but I forgot to mention it last time, and I felt so stupid, but Tara and I, for our Midnight Cravings Yarn Company, we had done a huge collab with Knox Mountain and Pip and Pin, and they were awesome. It was so much fun. So that was kind of a unexpected surprise. So Megan and I and Tara were collaborating for quite a while about doing a sweater. And so back in September in Knit City, we had brought some yarn for Megan to try out our yarn, and she had picked, she took it home, and she got to play with all the bases that we had brought her, and she decided that she'd really like the Comfort Sport base and wanted to design something out of it. So we said, let's go for it. She sent us some sketches. We picked a sweater, and she worked it up. And then it just so happened I was talking to Sasha one day, and she was showing me a new design that she was working on. And I said, oh, that's really cool, because she said, oh, I'm using a knot stitch. I'm like, oh, Megan's designing a sweater with the knot stitch with our yarn right now. And so it was really funny, because the way it worked out was that Sasha and Willow and Megan are friends, but they didn't know each other were working on these designs. So we all decided to get together, and we provided the yarn support for both Megan and for Knox Mountain. And then we just did a big release all at the same time. So it was really fun. It was like a three-way collab. And the designs are absolutely beautiful. So I'll make sure that I put in some photos of what their designs were. But first was Megan's. She did a sweater, like I said, and it's called the Carson sweater. So it's worked top down. It has a slight A-line. You have two choices of sleeve length. I did the 3/4 length, so it just comes to my elbow. And, well, I guess it's not 3/4 length. I did it more like elbow length, obviously. And so, but she has long sleeve and 3/4, so I just did mine a little shorter. And yeah, it's got this beautiful like knot stitch detail that comes to about your armpit level, and then it has the slight A-line stockinette body, and it's absolutely beautiful. And I wear mine all the time. On cool days, that's the first sweater I reach for. It's already getting pilly, so I'm gonna have to cleaner it really soon. And I just yeah, I've wore it like 150 times. I need to pick something else out of my wardrobe to wear, but I don't want to. So that was Megan's contribution to the collab, and then Knox Mountain came out with their collection. So they actually had a collection of 3 things. They had a hat, a cowl, and fingerless mitts, and they named theirs the Granby. I'm going to call it the Granby collection, but it's Granby hat, Granby cowl, and Granby mitts. So theirs has got the little knot stitch, so I will make sure I pop in all the pictures for you guys to ooh and ah over, and make sure that you give them some love too. Yeah, so that was the collab that we just did, and we have a couple more coming up, which I'm really excited about. I had mentioned to you just a few moments ago about Elissa Greenlaw, so something from string, and the reason that, well, she gifted me those socks, but it was also in part, we're going to do a collab together. So she's going to design a new pair of socks, and we are going to dye up a special colorway for it, which will be available in our shop. I don't think it'll be exclusive, but I wanted to let you know that we've got something fun coming for socks. Hopefully, I'm not sure. We haven't set a date, but sometime this summer, I'm sure. And also we have a collab coming up with Amanda from Little Bitty Delights. She makes these awesome little polymer clay foodie items. They're absolutely adorable. So she's working on a prototype right now. We've dyed up the yarn prototype as well. So I've got something funky going on with my hair. You can just see it. It's probably bugging you guys the whole time. Stupid hair. Okay? Nobody can tell me otherwise, so hopefully it's better. But yeah, sorry. I was talking about something else. Yeah, Little Bitty Delight. So if you guys haven't seen her, definitely check her out on Instagram. Her little food polymer clay creations are so adorable and so cute. Oh my goodness. I showed some on my Instagram. We got like little hostess cupcakes and the Danishes and a cookie and a whole bunch of things that I got. So they're really sweet. So we're really excited to show you guys what we've been working on, but it's not quite ready yet. But yeah. So that's that. That's kind of like the admin and, you know, whatever section. Sorry. But now, okay, so if you actually came here for knitting content, I have some for you, and I've got quite a bit. So get yourself a cup of coffee, get yourself something to do, like knit on, I mean, and yeah. So let's start with what I'm wearing, shall we? Because I keep touching it, so I may as well show you. So this is a brand new pattern by Ambah O'Brien. She's only had it out for a couple of weeks now. I think, well, come Friday it'll be 2 weeks, so about a week and a half. And it is called the Jacinta Shawl. And it is an all-over lace. It's lace from tip to tip. It's an asymmetrical shawl, and it's huge. And I love it. And I'm going to take it off, and then I'll never get it back on. But I love it so much. I saw this pattern, and I cast it on. I bought it the day it was released, cast on, and I was done 7 days later, which is ridiculous because this thing is almost 1,000 yards, and I just knit like mad. I have never knit anything so fast in my life. But the reason I was knitting it so fast was because I had just dyed up this collection of yarn, and I had wanted to have a sample knit up in the yarn before I launched it. So I was kind of racing against myself because I really wanted to get this yarn out there and show you guys because I love it so much. But this, okay, so I'm going to talk about the yarn and the pattern kind of at the same time. But this pattern, as you can see, it's like all this lace. It's like a triangle, get my shapes right. Diamond lace pattern, and it's garter. So it's pretty mindless once you get going. You just kind of use the front part of the chart to see, because you're increasing on one side and decreasing on another. At alternate, you know, so it's still growing. But anyways, because you're increasing, your lace changes on that first little section before you get to the repeat. The repeat itself was really easy to memorize. You can kind of start reading it. You know what you're going to do. So that wasn't difficult. So it was pretty mindless once you get going. I just flew. Oh, and I love it. So anyways, like I said, this was special yarn. Well, not special yarn. It's a kind of like a summer collection of yarn. But this color here, this green, is called Green Apple. Nope, I'm lying already. It's Granny Smith. This one is Bartlett Pear. This color in here is Freestone Peach. And this more pink one is Fruit Stand. And then this dark purple is Blackberry. So this is our summer collection, like I said. It is BC Orchard fruit inspired yarn. And oh, I just love it. So this is, like I said, it's a big, so it starts, I've just put a little decorative knot at the end, but yeah. Boop, here we go. Yes, it's a big shawl. And this is actually my favorite side. So you can see it's a reversible shawl, but you can see like here where you melt your colors or whatever you want to call that, you fade them in. So you get stripes on that side. They're a little bit more prominent. I prefer the wrong side because where your knits and your purls like connect together, it leaves a ridge on either side. So one half is going to be your, you know, color A, and the other, the bottom half, is going to be color B. And it just seems to blend together a little bit more. So I really love this side because it's much more seamless when you're looking at it from a distance. Like you can see the stripes there, but this side you really can't. It just fades it so nicely right there. So, and these colors, I love how these last three, well, I don't know, they all faded in really nicely together. When I designed this collection, I designed it so each color repeated a little bit in the next one so that, you know, it would fade into a project. So this is like a very green. It's got some green speckles. It's light green and dark green. This one is the green. It has green speckles as well, but it starts pulling in the peach. This one, Freestone Peach, obviously has a lot of the yellow. It has a yellow peachy color. It starts pulling in some of the pink and the burgundy that we get. Fruit Stand is mostly pink, has a touch of burgundy, also has a touch of peach, and then Blackberry is a lot of pink, and then that burgundy color that was in Fruit Stand. So yes, absolutely love this shawl. Really happy with how it turned out. I was just absolutely thrilled. So it was actually kind of funny because when I was, oh yeah, see how you have to put this thing on. It's like impossible, but I think I'm doing it the wrong way. I don't know. You guys can watch the awkwardness. But I was looking for something, the perfect shawl, because I didn't want to do a fade because I already have a fade on the needles, and I just don't need two, and they're huge, and it would have taken me even longer. Boy, what am I doing? You guys, this is how I do this. Forget it. Sit here for hours trying to figure out how to wear a shawl. But this one's actually pretty. For being an asymmetrical shawl, it's so big, so it's like nice and drapey, so we're just gonna do it like that. That was a little awkward, more awkward than it needed to be, but you know, that is me. There we go, back on. So just stop now. But yeah, so I was looking for a pattern. I was searching all through Ravelry because I didn't necessarily need to have a fade pattern, because to fade something, you basically just alternate rows. So when you're ready to start bringing in color B, you knit to your color A, and then you bring in color B, and then you go to color A, B, A, B, A, B, until you're, you know, so you have like micro stripes. That's how you fade. It is not like a hard technique for anybody who's never done a fade thing before. Don't be intimidated. It is not scary or hard at all. So with this one, I used 50 gram minis. Here, one sec. I'm just going to turn down the, wrong one. I'm getting glare on my glasses and I didn't realize it. So yeah, I used 50 gram minis. Where's my bag? And I didn't weigh or measure or anything. I just kind of knit until I thought my section was big enough, and then moved to the next color, started fading in the next color. So the only ball that is the biggest chunk left was this green apple, because this is the tip, right? So you knit for a long time, you get a really big section because it's just really narrow. So I thought that's enough green by the time I was ready. So I only used maybe half of my 50 gram ball. So I've got probably good 20. I haven't weighed this, so, but I guess it's probably close to 20 grams that I have left of it. Yeah, so this is the Granny Smith color. And then I started fading in the Bartlett Pear. And then the Freestone Peach. And yeah, so then it was like Fruit Stand. It's just a little bit, like 5 grams. And that much again of the Blackberry. So yeah, I just, when my ball got to, you know, roughly this size, egg sized or a little bit bigger, I started melding in the second one. So I do have a little bit left over. If I would have like weighed it out and decided, oh, how much is it per row, I could have like used up every scrap. But it's getting big because this shawl calls for only 700 and something yards, and I used almost 1,000 by the time it was said and done. Maybe 850, 900 yards. Once I weigh it and everything, then I'll know more accurately. But it was already past where she had said, okay, like now is the time to bind off, because it's just a repeat. You just repeat and you just keep on going, and it just grows, and that's super easy. You just don't stop the pattern. Just keep on going and it's done. So I was about 40 rows farther along than what she had already said. So it's big, but I really like it. It's nice and squishy, and it blocked out beautifully because it's lace. So grew even more. So that is number 1 whip, and yeah, I'm really happy with it. Number 2, well, this is the one I pulled out of my bag. I showed it on my Instagram as well. It's another big shawl. I'm really liking shawls lately. So this one I finished. It had been on my needles. I cast it on in July last year and was half done it, over half done it, and I put it in a bag and promptly forgot about it. So I was looking through all my stuff, all my bags and my whips and stuff like that, and I found it. I'm like, you know, I'm just going to finish it because it's so pretty. So this is my Changing Light shawl from by Jennifer Weissman. So she's Shady Stroll on Instagram and on Ravelry. So you can find her there. So it's this big rectangular shaped wrap, but it's tapered. So the end is like a triangular end kind of thing. So, oh, but I love it so much. So for this one, you start right in the center, you create the center diamond, and then you knit until it's as wide as you need it to be, until the pattern says to stop. I forgot to stop. I just kind of got going, and so this is wider than it was supposed to be. So I was playing yarn chicken, and I did not win with one of my colors, and so some of this I had to kind of alter a little bit. Like I had to start melding in my colors a little sooner than I was supposed to because I was going to run out of yarn. But anyways, you cast on in the center, you knit until it's as wide as, then you put half the stitches on hold, you knit the other side. Then it also has some of this fading going on in it, which I love this one because this one is a lot harder to see where that fade was. But I dyed the yarn specifically for this project. So this color here at the end is Juice Box, like our regular Juice Box colorway. And then I did a slightly heavier speckle on the Juice Box and then a really heavy speckle so that it is kind of like its own new color. So this is the Juice Box gradient set that's available in our shop that I used. But yeah, so from tip to tip, it's about 7.5 or 8 feet long. Maybe longer. I can't remember now. I'll have to look up last week when I recorded, I remembered all this information, but now I do not. But anyways, it's beautiful. I really, really, really enjoyed this pattern, and it blocked out huge too because of all this simple mesh eyelets. But yeah, highly recommend that pattern. Jennifer has beautiful patterns. I don't know how she's not more popular than she is. I mean, she's got lots of beautiful, beautiful patterns. So if you haven't heard of her, well, now you have, and you should go check her out. So yeah, I first heard of her, but I watched her on the Krissy Glass podcast, and Krissy was wearing this shawl, but in different colors, obviously. And I was like, okay, I need that in my life. And so, yeah, that's what I love about podcasts, is that you find all kinds of things that you would never necessarily have seen just from searching, especially if you're searching the hot right now on Ravelry. The things on there don't really deviate. Like the first page is almost always the same. Like the same 10 projects are always the same 10 projects. Because they're popular for a reason. So they're beautiful. But yeah, sometimes new designs can get missed if that's how you're always looking, which is generally how I am. But anyways, enough rambling. My next FO that I've got going, done. I don't have it going anymore. It's done. Yay. So anyways, I have had this on the needles since last year sometime. I don't even remember when I cast this on. And it's a little cardigan for my daughter. So I'll show you the back side first, because the back side's the best part. So I love this little pattern where it's an intarsia technique. Well, it's not an intarsia technique. It is intarsia. So here you can see on the inside. You can see the things. So maybe it's not the neatest. It hasn't been blocked yet either. So, not the best. But yeah, so you knit, and then you knit to that certain part on the chart, and then you have to like link your things and then knit back. And anyways, if you're not familiar with intarsia, there's lots of YouTube videos on how to do it, which is what I did to learn. And yeah, so this cardigan is the Metamorphosis cardigan from Linda Wilgus, and it is she's Woolly Mammoth on Ravelry. And so the problem with this pattern, it wasn't a problem with the pattern, but the problem is that I wanted this cardigan for my daughter, Evelyn, and she's just 10. So she was 9 when I started it, but she's 10 now. And it's an adult, like an adult women's pattern, and I really love this back. But even the extra small was going to be way too big because she's like this really like tiny framed child. And so I didn't know how to do it. So I actually, because this is a fairly basic shaped cardigan, I mean, it's just an A-line sleeve. There we go. It's an A-line open cardigan, long sleeves. It was pretty easy. So what I ended up doing was going and finding the Flax Light is a free pattern from Tin Can Knits. So I kind of mathed out her size, figured out what her back, based on their measurements, would be, and how big to do the increases for the arms and how many to cast on for the arms. And then because it's a closed sweater, the front I took away a bunch of stitches, like 10 or 15 stitches or something, or 20 or whatever, because I knew that there was eventually going to be a band knitted on, so I didn't want it to be overlapping. So if I would have used the exact count for the Flax Light, it would have, you know, even if I would have split it because I knew it was going to be a cardigan, then once I got the bands on, it would overlap, you know, funny. So I was like, okay, so I had to adjust that. So I kind of sort of took the idea of the Metamorphosis cardigan and the Intarsia charting, put it into a Flax Light, which is a pullover, converted it to a cardigan, and then the Flax Light is a crew neck, and I didn't want a crew neck. I wanted a V-neck cardigan because it just looked nice, and that's the way that the Metamorphosis cardigan. I was like, I wanted the Metamorphosis cardigan. I just wanted it in a kid's size. So it just took a little bit of math. So yeah, I used like the raglan shaping and the numbers from the Flax Light, but I needed to use the technique for the neck shaping from the Gramps cardigan from Tin Can Knits, which was a worsted weight, so I still had to convert. So it was kind of confusing, but it all turned out. It fits her exactly like I wanted. So, you know, don't be afraid. It sounds like a lot of work, but if you sit down and methodically like think out what you're going to do, you can easily mix up patterns, because this is a mashup, sorry. It's a mashup of 3 different patterns, but it creates, you know, basically what I wanted. So it's just a really long sleeved. She's got really extremely long arms, and then I made them even longer so that they'll bunch up a little bit at her wrist, but that way she'll get a little bit more wear out of it. So yeah, raglan style, little cardigan. I put a 2x2 rib band all the way around. She didn't want buttons, so it just hangs open. But yeah, really, really happy with this one. So the yarn that I used here is this bright, obnoxious purple, which is Knit Pick Stroll Vibrant Violet. And then the blue stripe is just some of the stuff that I hand dyed it myself. We don't have it available in the shop. I don't even know how I did it. It was one of the first ones we did before we even, I'm pretty sure we didn't even have the shop open at that point. It was literally one of the first ones I dyed. Evelyn wanted a blue and pink speckled yarn. So I'm like, okay, I think I can do that. And that's what I created. I love it. I don't even know how I did it. See, now that I'm more, you know, we do this for work, I think at that time I just threw stuff on and it was great. But now I'd have to like measure out how much I was doing it. So I think, you know, some of the spontaneousness, I would overthink it now. And I don't know if I could recreate that. If that makes sense. It probably doesn't make sense if you're not a yarn dyer, but everything has to be recreatable. And so sometimes I get in my own head and I can't, I find it hard just to be spontaneous, but that's okay. I really like this. And, you know, it's kind of a one of a kind. And just like Evelyn, you cannot get another girl like her. If you know her, you know it's true. Anyways, love my kids, but drive me a little crazy sometimes. So that's it for FOs. 3 big ones. Big ones, yeah, because that's like, that thing had been on my needles for a year. This has been on my needles for a year. And this was on my needles for a whole week. Like I said, I don't even know how I managed I think it was a combo of perfect yarn weight to perfect needles. I used my Chow Goo 3.75 millimeters on a 40-inch cord or a 32-inch cord. I'm not sure. But yeah, just flew off the needle. So really happy with that. So for whips right now, I have a couple. 3 actually, but they alternate. Right now, the biggest one, the first one I need to get done is a grab gift actually. Oh, where's the other sock? I took it out here, but whatever. These are just a basic 3x1 rib sock that I'm knitting for a young man who's graduated. I've known his family forever. I used to babysit him when he was a tiny baby. Nothing makes you feel older than having, you know, a baby that you used to babysit graduate high school. It's like, oh my goodness. When they start getting married, I'm going to be like, that's it. I'm done. I can't even handle it. So anyways, these are just, like I said, a 3x1 sock. I believe it's 72 stitches. I'm doing them toe up. And I'll put in a fish lips kiss heel, and then I'll knit the cuff or the leg, and then the cuff will also be in this green. So the green color for the toe, heels, and cuff is her Grove colorway, and then this brown color is called Take a Hike. So I'll see if I can get it a little closer for you to see. So it's like a variegated brown. It's kind of like an all over. I really like this color. It's like a gray brown, and then it's got these little bright green flecks in it. Oh, maybe you can see them better on this side. Oh, there's some great, like, bright green flecks every once in a while in it. And he had kind of requested through his mom, like, because I had texted her and said, do you think he'd like a pair of socks? And she's like, because I'd knit his brother a pair of socks. That was his grad gift, and he wears his all the time. So I thought, well, see if the other if the other boys want that as well for when they graduate. So she said he would love some, and he loves like hunting and being outdoors and that kind of stuff. So she said that he would like some camo colors. So we happen to have this color in the shop. So that was that. So it's our, did I say that? It's Take a Hike in Grove. And yeah, really like these. So I'm hoping that he fits them. I've got one sock done. If they don't, I'm just going to pop the toe off. Even though they're toe up, I'll just do like an afterthought, and I'll just run a lifeline, snip it, and re-knit the toe down if I need to shorten them up or lengthen them at all. I shouldn't need to lengthen them. I'm just worried about them being a little bit short, maybe, because he's like a size 10. His mom says 10, 10 and a half. It depends on the shoe. So I kind of took the measurement for between a 10 and a 10 and a half, but you know, sometimes the toe might be a little long or fit weird or something. So I'll get him to try them on, and then I can make adjustments from there when I'm done. But that is what I'm working on for him. And then I'm knitting the second of the pair of these ones. I showed these last time. I had a whole bunch done of my sock, and then I had to rip it out. But anyways, these are going to be my husband's socks. He does not have a size 10 foot. He has a size US 12 and a half foot. So these are like, they go forever. Let's see how far they go. It's got I did an afterthought heel on these. Don't know if I care for it. I don't know. I like the process of it, but I misjudged how long his foot was or something. And so it was puckering at the back of his toe, or at the back of his heel. And so I had to undo that, and then I had to take off like 4 rows. So now it's a little wide, but they fit him. It fits him good. So anyways, yeah. Okay. So ridiculous. It's like a sleeve. Ooh. There we go. Fingertips to elbow. That's the length of his socks that he likes. I brought home a mini, like a 50 gram, and I'm like, hey, do you think I could make you a pair of socks? And he's like, well, how long would they be? I'm like, ankle socks? He won't wear an ankle sock. He likes a nice long cuff. Look how long that is. Hello. Oh, that's bad. Okay. We're just going to take that off. Okay, so these are really long. So, yeah, his the cuff is almost as long as the foot. So, this takes like 50 grams. They're very long socks. So I've got the second one started. It's like this big. It's got the toe and like 10 rounds. So wasn't really worth showing. But the, this colorway is the Felici, Knit Picks Felici in the Chickadee colorway. So for any of you who have heard of Felici but don't have any, oh my goodness. It's crazy soft and it's awesome and it's self-striping. So it's a really fun yarn to have in your collection. So Felici or Knit Picks only comes out with it a couple times a year. It used to be like on their website all the time, but a few years ago they kind of discontinued it, which then caused everybody to riot. And so now they release it again every 6 months or so. So usually they release it, they usually release it for their summer sale and then for their like a Cyber Monday sale. So yeah, if you go to Knit Picks, watch them. They will probably be popping up another round, I'm going to guess, based on like the last few years. So probably within the next couple of weeks. Sometime in June, they usually start their summer sale, and almost always Felici is part of it. So make sure you run and get, because once those colors are gone, they're gone. They don't generally sometimes they bring back a colorway if it's really popular, but not very often, and you never know which ones are going to be the ones that they bring back. So if you see a color you like, you grab it. They will not be on sale. Like, it'll be part of their summer sale, but it's a brand new yarn line every time, so they don't actually discount it. But I mean, it's like $6 or just under $6. It's like $5.69 US for a 50-gram ball. So you need 2 to do a pair of socks, unless you want to do shorties. Like I have a ladies 8.5 foot, and I can do, if I do contrast heel toe cuff, I can get a pair of socks from 50-gram skein of yarn, which is awesome. But a man, or if you want a taller cuff, you'd need 2. So keep that in mind. But it's like $11 US for a striping sock, a pair of striped socks. So that is a good value, and I highly recommend you trying that if you've never used their yarn before. So that is it. Is that it for whips? No, that's not it for whips. I'm like, I'm forgetting something. Yeah, the biggest one. What is up with me and the big projects lately? I don't even know. So last time on the podcast, I had showed you the fact that I had 2 sleeves. So these are going to just be like elbow length sleeves. Oh my goodness. This is really irritating. In this pattern, it's the Geo Lace pattern by Jenise Reed. I don't remember. I can never remember. She was one, and then she got married, and now her name's changed, and I can never remember which way it goes. My bad. Should really look that up. But anyways, it's a bottom-up sweater with a lace yoke. So I'm really excited to get to the lace yoke part. But I decided to avoid second sleeve syndrome or sleeve island, that I was going to knit the sleeves first. So these are the sleeves. But the reason is I've got this really long string attached to both, because you needed to leave a big long tail because you use it to Kitchener the arms to the yoke. So it's like, oh my goodness, I've got this. Every time I pull these out, I've got this random string. But anyways, this is the sleeve. So I'm going to do it just so it's elbow length, the way I like it. And then, yeah, so that comes up to here. And then the yoke will, be there. And I mean, if these are pulled up a little bit because of where the yoke comes to, that's fine. But I don't like a long sweater. Even in the wintertime, I end up pushing them up to my elbows anyways. I think years of having such long monkey arms, I can never get sweaters long enough. So I just push them up so that it looks intentional, instead of like, that you've got a sweater an inch too short, which looks dumb. So yeah, so now I just wear all my sweaters that way. Even though I can knit them myself and I can make sure my sleeves are long enough, I still push them up. So I'm like, whatever. Then it just stretches out the knitting and looks bad. So I'm just going to forget it. Saves yarn if you only have to do it to your elbows. But anyways, enough about sleeves and my body issues. Nobody needs to know that. So I have been done the sleeves for a long time, but now I've got the body on the go. I'm really, really happy. I've got 2 balls going because I'm alternating right now as I'm switching between. I'm switching from one ball to the other. But, okay, here we go. This is but I've got so far of the body. Oh my goodness, it's awesome. I love it so much. So this is the yarn I'm using. This is Stitch Mischief. She's out of Vancouver or Abbotsford or Vancouver-ish area, one of those cities. This is her Decadent Fingering Base, which is 100% merino, and it's like a high micron count, so it's incredibly soft and squishy. And this colorway is Prism, so it's like a gorgeous sandy color with all these bright neon flecks of color. Let's see. It's crazy bright, and it's awesome, and I love it. So, and then this down here is just some pink that I had in my stash. It's like a neon. So if you're looking for like a neon like that, I think Jade actually sells some, or she does intermittently, and then if not, it's like you can always just use a commercial dyed neon. Knit Picks makes some. But yeah, so this is the band, this yarn here. It's coming apart. It's been beat up, so it's starting to, the hank is starting to come apart. But come on. There we go. Stitch Mischief. Yeah, that's really fun. So I'm really, really excited. So the pattern is really awesome because it gives you 3 different choices for the body shape. It gives you a straight body. It gives you a tapered, like a more fitted idea, and it also gives you, it's called a swing body. So the swing body is like a big, like a tunic-y kind of oversized dress kind of idea. And I didn't want that because A, it takes up a lot more yarn, and I'm already a bigger girl, so it's like, no, I don't need that in my life. But I do like an asymmetrical, or not asymmetrical, an A-line shaped. So I didn't want fitted because I didn't want it tight. Straight looks weird because I'm bigger around my stomach, and then my waist comes way in, like for my, under my bust. And so I'm like very much like A-frame shape kind of thing. And so to have it straight, it would be tight in my belly, but it would be loose underneath my, you know, around my waist. And I'm like, that would look weird. So I decided to kind of do a combination. I cast on extra stitches. I kind of think I went with I'm going with the fitted size, but I went up a size. So like if I'm knitting the large, I can't remember if I'm knitting I think I'm knitting the large size for the pattern. So I think I went up to the extra large sizing for the cast on for the around the waist. And then I'm doing decreases every 6 rows. Let's see where's one of my decrease rows. Okay, decreases are here. I don't know if you can see right down there. You can't really tell, which is nice. But anyways, I do have a decrease row in here somewhere, right down there, that I, every 6 rows I decrease 1 stitch. So eventually I'll decrease 24 stitches, and then it'll be to the count that I need for when I hit the yoke. So I'm hoping that my hack of the pattern works out for me. I think it will. It feels really drapey, and it looks like it'll be quite roomy when I block it out and stuff like that. And you know, kind of that oversized, roomy, boxy fit is kind of in right now, so I'm kind of looking forward to it. Because that's what my Carson sweater is. That is an A-line, and it's a little bit big, and it looks really nice. I find it's quite flattering for my shape, so I'm really looking forward to this. So I don't know. I can't really try it on because the needles aren't big enough for me to wrap around, but I think I'm almost to the bust-ish. I'll have to measure, but eventually I'll get there. And then I'll be ready to do the yoke, so I'll be excited. My sleeves are done, so once I hit the yoke, it's just decreasing in lace, and it's all charted, so I'm really looking forward to that. So yeah, that's my other big project. I'm hoping to have that done by Knit City, which I should be able to do. It's not an overly, like it's not a lot left. I've kind of, the bulk of it is already finished, and it's in stockinette, so it just flies around. I don't have to really even think about it. So yeah. So that's what I'm working on right now. I've got 1,001 other whips. I organized all my whips into like a rolling IKEA cart, and I had like 15 of them, and all the shelves are full of projects. for somebody who hates having more than one project on the go, I ended up with a lot. I don't know how that happened. I really, really, really don't. It's like I open up some of the bags, I'm like, what is this? I don't even remember. I don't have them marked in Ravelry. It's like sometimes I like pull them out and they never, I have no idea. So bizarre. But anyways, I got all excited with cast-on-itis apparently over the last year, and now I'm trying to like, I'm opening the bags, and if they're really like, they make me excited to find them, I'm like, okay, let's make that my next project because I want to finish them. And if I'm like, oh, I really no, then it gives me permission to frog it, because honestly, if it doesn't bring you any sort of joy or happiness, then why are you doing it? So yeah, that's that. So we'll see what we have to show you next time. I might have a frog pile, or I might have some more mystery things to, you know, it'll look like I do a lot of knitting, and I don't, because it's like 3/4 of the things are already half done for me. That's the trick, apparently. So yeah, so that's it for FOs and whips. Let me see what I found on the back of my page. Oh, treats. So treats is kind of my, I'll kind of go into some acquisitions, some things that I've picked up in the last few times I've seen you. So some of these things I had actually had at the last podcast, but I forgot to show them. So I don't have that much here. So, you know, it wasn't complete piggery or anything like that. So I actually don't buy wool very often anymore. Just not even because I can dye it myself. I hardly ever take anything from work actually, which is surprising. I have a whole big selection of things I could take, and I just am like, nah, that's fine. I don't end up taking for myself, except for this. I was like, yeah, I'm taking that home, and I'm knitting with it, and I'm going to wear it a lot. But anyways, so I did buy a pattern, so I'll show you that. This one's actually a really cool pattern. I'll explain a little bit out of it. But this is the Road Trip Cowl. So there it is, Road Trip. And it is by Knit Natural, or Susie Gorley. So a lot of you might not know Susie Gorley, her name, but you know one of her designs. She designed the Bankhead hat, which is an extremely popular hat in Ravelry. It is, it's been knit like almost 6,000 times. It's just amazing. But anyways, Susie's local to us actually. She lives in Regina, which is only about an hour and a half away from me. So I've met her a few times at events, mostly like she is one of the coordinators for the Etsy shows that they do throughout Canada. So she is on a team that coordinates the Etsy SK, like the Etsy Saskatchewan shows. They have them like 2 or 3 times a year in different cities. So we have a couple in Regina a year, and we have a couple in Saskatoon each year. So anyways, so I have met her a couple of times. I've actually knit her pattern, the Bankhead hat. Totally didn't realize it was the same Susie Gorley that I knew. I finally made that connection. I was like, whoa, I know her. So yeah, it takes me a while to like have all my neurons firing and making those connections. But yes, Susie Gorley from Regina, who I know, is the same one who designed the Bankhead head that I absolutely love. So go figure. But anyways, this cowl, I bought it from her at the last Etsy SK show that I went to. She had the sample there, and it was so pretty, and I was like, what is that? And it is inspired by Saskatchewan, which just makes it extra kind of cool. So I'm going to try to explain it here. So this part here, down at the bottom, it's like a sand color. So in this pattern, she had it designed with another dyer, and the dyer did up all these minis, and they're based on colors of Saskatchewan. So it's a really cool concept. So anyways, this bottom one is based on grid roads or dirt roads. So it's like this sandy, dirty color. This is canola fields, lakes and rivers, the forest, because the Saskatchewan is really forested up in the northern part of the province. So this is like a green brown. My phone scared me. My phone fell on the floor. And then this is kind of horizon. And then this is sky, so it's like a blue, white, swirly kind of thing. And it's really cool too, because each of the sections has its own different kind of texture. So I thought it was a really fun idea, and I don't have the yarn. She didn't have any kits, so I'm just going to use some scraps that I have, and I'm not going to necessarily do like dirt color, like the layers. I'm just going to pull from some fun speckles that I have, and I'm just going to knit the cowl as like kind of a stitch sampler, but I really love the idea of this. It was just really cool. So I was really happy. I picked that up a couple weeks ago. I'm looking forward to casting it on. I might when I cast it on, I might do it a little bit tighter, just so it doesn't open so much, because I like a more snug fitting cowl. But yeah. Also, what else did I get here? I'm not sure what to show you. I guess I'll show you my project bags. You guys got a peek of this one while I was working on the socks. So this little project bag, I'm actually kind of a sucker for project bags right now. Instead of buying yarn, I started buying project bags, which is probably why I started casting on all the things, because all the bags need to have something in them. I've got about 5 empty ones over there, so I'm not filling them. I'll just put them in a rotation. So I don't like having so many whips, but anyways, this is one of my newest ones, and I really love it. It's by Stitch Mischief, so Jade out in BC there. So she's a quilter, and she makes bags and she dyes yarn too. But you can tell that she is very experienced, because her seams are like bang on. You can't even tell that there's like a seam there because it's so exact. Oh, I love it. And then she's got this really great handle. You know, I didn't think that I would necessarily use a handle, but I really do. So I really like that she has these handles and that they're detachable. So you can change them out, or you can take it off if you don't need it or something like that. I really like that. So this is her Twiggy Petite. So it's just a small, it fits a sock pattern, or like a sock. I've got my sock in there right now. So it fits a ball of yarn, and it's mini. And yeah, the project really nicely. And it's just the perfect size, and it's squishy. She's got it lined really nice. And then, yeah, inside she always puts her little logo and cute coordinating fabric. So I was really happy. With this one, she sent me a little extra little notions pouch, which is so cute. It's Alice in Wonderland. I really like it. I was so happy. I didn't know that she was going to tuck that in for me. So thank you, Jade. Really like that. Oh, yeah, and I love that. The back of it matches the fabric on the inside of my bag. So yeah, I bought that probably, I had that, it arrived like the day that I podcasted last time, but I didn't realize that, so I didn't have it. And then, but yeah, and then she had an update a couple weeks ago, and I snapped up this bag, because I kept going back and looking at it, and oh good, it's still there, and then I wouldn't put it in my cart. And I did that like 10 times over a couple of weeks, so I'm like, okay, I'm just going to buy it, because if I don't, and it goes, somebody else buys it, then I'll be sad. But it's this one. And it's also her Twiggy style, but it's her bigger one. So it's like more of a small sweater or a shawl size. It's really big. It's got this coordinating teal crosshatch pattern fabric on the inside. But look, it's like retro gum wrappers. It's so cute. And it's got the same thing, the big wristlet that matches it. And then the bottom is a sparkle linen. It's awesome. I love it so much. So I haven't used it yet because I just got it, but I'm going to put a project in it fairly soon. And I didn't put this one in it because I didn't put it down. It never went into a bag, so I just worked on it so fast. But anyway, so yeah, those are my 2 new project bags. I'm really excited. I love. So yeah, I'm going to put her links down below. You make sure you go check her shop out. When she puts bags up, you can be sure that they're going to be extremely high quality, and she does an amazing job of sewing them. I'm really excited. She's going to be at Knit City this year, and you can be guaranteed that I'll be going to her booth, because I love her yarn and I love her bags, and I will definitely be going to have a peek to see what I can bring home from her. So that's that from, yeah, those kind of things. And now I've just got a couple of special yarn purchases and goodies to share with you guys. So at the beginning of the episode, I talked about the anti-bullying campaign, There's Room for Everyone. And quite a few other dyers had jumped in and done that as well. And one of them was Kim and Jazzy. They are new yarn dyers. they actually launched their shop with that campaign. So that was really cool. They had about 6 colorways, I believe, all having something to do with anti-bullying. All of them were actually references to songs that meant something to them personally. And so, yeah, it was really beautiful, beautiful colors, and it had such like emotion attached to it that they made them extra special. But over the course of the campaign, I was chatting with Kim, and oh yeah, it's a mother and daughter. So Kim is the mom and Jazzy's the daughter, and they die together. So I was chatting with Kim, and she asked if she could send Tara and I some yarn, and so I said, okay, like that would be, we would love to try out your yarn because they're brand new, and the colors are just stunning. So yeah, so she spoiled us, and she sent us 2 skeins, and oh my goodness, they are, you can't even imagine how stunning and soft they are. These are, sorry, their business name is Driftwood Farms Yarn and Candle Company. And you can find them at Driftwood Farms, I believe, on Instagram. But I'll put all the links down below so you guys can see for sure. But this is like a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous sand taupey color with these incredible speckles of red and like maroon, and there's green and brown and black in there, and it's just stunning. So this colorway is called I Will Survive, and it is their 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon base. It's 100 grams and 382 yards. So it's kind of like a slightly thicker fingering, nowhere close to a sport. It's definitely a fingering weight, but it's a little plumper than some of the other ones that you can get on the market. But I think it's stunning. Oh my goodness. And you can't even, like, the squish factor is amazing. Squish-o-vision needs to be a thing. So the second one they sent us was this one, and it is called Here Comes the Sun. And it's the perfect name, because look at it. Oh, it's so pretty. It's this bright, gorgeous yellow, dark hits of burgundy and red, and then it's got like this beautiful soft yellow in there, and it's very much like, it reminds me so much of like flaring sun, like when you see the pictures in space of the sun. That's exactly what this is. And it's stunning. It's also their 80-10-10 MCN base. So, oh, I want to knit with it. I do not know what. So far, we just like let it sit here and we just squish it, and it makes us happy. So thank you so much for this gift, Kim and Jazzy. The note you sent made us cry, and we know how much these mean to you, and so they mean a lot to us as well. So yeah, everybody who's watching, go check those girls out because they're incredible. And then we also got these 2 skeins from Boss Lady. Let me see. I put the tags upside down because one tag is upside down and one's. Let me fix that, because that's just going to be awkward if I show them like that. I'm trying to get the bands back on. Okay, here we go. So this is Boss Lady Yarn Co. It's the first Boss Lady that we've actually purchased, but it won't be the last. Definitely. It's this beautiful yellow color. It's yellow and it's got some silver in there. There you can see it. And then it's got these beautiful green speckles. And so normally these are not my colors at all. I don't even know what I'm going to do with these. One's Tara's and one's mine. And we actually bought these because they were her charity colorway. I wouldn't really call it a charity, but it's like fundraising, her fundraising skeins. So back in April, April 6th, I believe, there was a horrible accident just not too far from where we live. We live 45 minutes from Humboldt, Saskatchewan. So I'm sure most of you know about Humboldt, Saskatchewan now. Unfortunately, in April, on the way up to a hockey game, the Humboldt Broncos bus was hit by a semi, and it killed over half the team. I believe 16 people died from that out of the 29 that were on the bus, and they were all young men. One woman died. She was their trainer. The bus driver was killed, and the coach was killed, and the announcer from the radio station was killed, and then a bunch of the boys. It was absolutely terrible. It was devastating for the province, for Canada, for anybody who has any ties to hockey, or, you know, I don't have any ties to hockey. I don't have children in hockey. My husband never played. You know, I don't know anybody who does, but I am a mother, and to feel that, you send your kids away for their hockey game and they don't come home because of a horrible tragedy. It was just terrible. And I was just visiting Humboldt the other day with my husband. We had to take the car or vehicle for some work at the dealership there. And the town, every tree has ribbons tied to it. Every business has hashtag pray for Humboldt, or Humboldt Broncos, or Humboldt Strong, or something like that. And it's changed that city it's changed their entire course of history. And it's crazy. It was a terrible, terrible accident. I cried for days anytime I looked at any sort of news article. It was just terrible. So anyways, all that to say, Jen from Boss Lady, she felt the need to do something, as many of us felt the need to, and she created this beautiful colorway. And so it's the Humboldt Broncos. So she donated money for every skein sold, and I believe she raised well over $1,000. So I was so impressed and proud of her for that. And these are our two. So I don't know what I'm going to make, but that doesn't matter. So yeah, so that's everything I believe for the week. So I'm sorry if you hear something in the background. My husband came home and he's jumped in the shower, so you might hear a little bit of water running. So anyways, it was good timing anyways, because I got to get going. It's almost time for my kids to come home. And yeah, so I think that was everything. I've got quite a bit going on, obviously, lots of knitting. So yeah, comment below. Let me know what you guys are working on. I would love to get some ideas for some new patterns. I've got lots of yarn. I would like to know what you're working on, because it's always fun to get some new pattern suggestions for new projects to fill up the bags that are emptying. So anyways, so hopefully it won't be so long since you see me next time, but I can't promise anything. Summer is coming, so I'll have the kids home every day. I like to do this when they're at school or wherever, so that they're not distracting me, because you know how it is when the kids, when the phone rings, it's like all of a sudden they need you. It's like that when you turn on the camera too. So I can't do it when the kids are here. So summer will be scarce. But anyways, yeah, comment below. Let me know what you guys are working on. And yeah, I never know how to say goodbye. It's just super awkward every time. All right, we'll catch you guys later.